Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. I'm Sister Nicolette Hodge.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. I'm Fatima Hodge. Welcome to We Reflect the Light.
This is part two, a continuation of Demons Exposed. We will identify how the demons were produced and relate that to what's going on right now with the war in the Middle East. All right, sisters and brothers, we're going to start with the book of Exodus. The book of Exodus identifies the plan of our open enemy, which is the devils, to wipe our seed out of existence. So let's go. When you are helping the Hebrew women during childbirth on the delivery stool, if you see that the baby is a boy, kill him. But if it is a girl, let her live. All right, sisters and brothers. What is the significance of killing the baby boy but letting the baby girl live? The male carries the seed, sisters and brothers, and we are all the seed of our father. Therefore, the male carries the bloodline. All right, the male determines the nature of the child because the child has the same nature of his father. So the devil's plan was to kill off our seed by killing off our baby boys and preserving or letting the girls live, because the girls or the females are actually the ones that carry the man's seed. So as we go along through this presentation, we will be identifying exactly how it is that the details of what they did to carry that plan out, sisters and brothers. Now, America, they teach you that the mother is the one that determines the child's bloodline. I know that false Israel, the Jews, they say that you're a Jew if your mother was a Jew. However, again, that's not the case. The father carries the seed. Therefore, the father and the father alone determines that bloodline. And this is something that these devils know, even though they try to deceive us about science and biology. However, the evidence is right here in this scripture that they know that the man carries the seed. They know that the male is the one that has that bloodline. So this is the devil's plan to get rid of the original nation, the true seed of Abraham, sisters and brothers. All right. Oh, you're on mute.
Yes, ma'am, sisters and brothers. In the book of Jeremiah, chapter 31, verse 27, it identifies who this offspring is, right? It identifies exactly what they're mixed with, and it identifies who they are, right? So I'm going to read it first, then we're going to break that down. So it says, "Behold, the days are coming, declares the Lord, when I will sow the house of Israel and the house of Judah with the seed of man and the seed of beast." All right, sisters and brothers, so we're going to focus on that bottom part right there. It said, "I will sow the house of Israel and the house of Judah with the seed of man and the seed of beast." So, sisters and brothers, this highlights the point that Sister Nicolette made about the demons. They are, in fact, mixed with man and beast. Why is that? Because they have the original nation in them and the devils. So we know that their mothers are original, right? Which would be that seed of man, right? And the seed of beast, right? The seed of beast, because they are in fact Caucasians, right? Their fathers are Caucasian. So their fathers are those beasts that they identified, right? that they will be mixed with. So it's man and beast that they'll be mixed with. And that's exactly what they're mixed with, sisters and brothers. They're Caucasians in black skin. Now, they produce their children by raping the original black woman, right? So they are in fact camouflaged in with our nation because of that skin tone that they get from their mothers. However, they are in fact devils in black skin. Now, half man, half devil, which makes them a demon. Sisters and brothers, that is in fact their identity, sisters and brothers. They are demons. They are identified as demons. Now, sisters and brothers, this is something that we had no knowledge of, right? Until the messenger of the covenant came and gave us this knowledge of our hidden enemies, sisters and brothers. So not only do you have a open enemy, you also have a hidden enemy. And their hidden enemy is identified as demons, as your open enemies are devils, sisters and brothers. So we have to understand that the enemy has taught us to think things are spooks and spirits, right? Demons are something that you're fighting, and devils is something somewhere you'll go when you die and you'll be in hell with devils. This is what they teach you. However, sisters and brothers, that is in fact false, and this is for them to keep you out of reality. And we know that demons and devils are physical people, sisters and brothers. They're surrounding you today, sisters and brothers. Devils are your open enemies, and demons are your hidden enemies that look like you, talk like you. They also walk like you, sisters and brothers, but they are not you. They have the nature of their fathers because they have the bloodline of the devils, sisters and brothers. So we have to understand that this was the plan to commit genocide on our nation, to wipe us out. Sisters and brothers, as Sister Nicolette shared, it told they shared in Exodus for them not to, kill the male babies, but spare the women, right? Why is that? Because they wanted to get rid of that seed. And they know that the woman is not a threat. She doesn't have a seed to bear, right? So she's the one to just hold a seed, right? So this was their attempt to wipe us out completely through genocide, right? By raping the original woman. And in results, they produce the seed of man and the seed of beast, sisters and brothers, which is these demons that are surrounding you today, sisters and brothers. They are just like their fathers, but they look like us. So this is why they're so dangerous, because they're hidden within our nation. They look like your sisters, they look like your brothers, but they're not. And during our servitude, you identify them as house Negroes. The house Negroes were in the house because they were actually Massa's children from the rape of the black woman. So they were the ones who had clothes, shoes, things that we, the field Negroes, did not have but wanted, right? We looked up to these house Negroes. We wanted to be like these house Negroes. We wanted to be in that house like the house Negroes because they got things that we didn't get. We got to understand that the position that we were in was, like I said, the condition that we were in during our servitude was terrible. Sisters and brothers, they treated us like animals. We didn't have anything. We didn't have shoes on our feet. We barely had clothes on our backs. Sisters and brothers, this is the treatment of them. They had us in inhumane conditions. Sisters and brothers, so of course we were going to look up to these Negroes that looked like us, that had more than us, right? And this is why the house Negroes were happy to feed Massa's babies. They were happy to work for Massa. They were happy to serve and cook for Massa because they were in fact his children. They would never allow a field Negro in their home because then they're allowing that enemy inside of their house, right? So you have to understand that they hate you. They hate us, right? So they would never allow us in their environment. You got to understand the way they treated us. We would not they wouldn't want us to serve them, to feed their babies and things of that nature because we couldn't. First of all, we would. It's a risk that they're putting themselves under if they was to allow us in that house. So you have to understand that those were his children in the house, not the field Negroes, sisters and brothers. But this is what the house Negroes did: manipulate us and make us feel like, you know, we wanted that position, but we didn't understand that they were in fact master's children. That's why they were in that house, and that's the same thing that they're doing today, sisters and brothers. They are in fact the ones that have more than you, right? They're the ones that are, they're the celebrities, they're the entertainers, they are the ones who are out here rich, wealthy. That is NASA's children. This is their heaven, just like it's NASA's heaven. However, you have to understand they look like us, right? So it's hard to identify them, and we're still trying to look up to them as if we can achieve what they're achieving, but we cannot achieve what they're achieving because they are in fact just like their fathers. So they have the energy like their fathers, as and brothers. They are able to achieve this reality. Other, they're able to achieve this reality just like their fathers. This is their, because this is their reality. This is their heaven. So you have to understand that, and we gotta understand that we are killing ourselves by trying to match and be like them, right? Because they're, we have to understand that they have more energy than we have, right? So we have to, well, we all get the same amount of energy. However, that's another conversation. The point is that they are just like their fathers, sisters and brothers. So they are the ones out here achieving the American dream, just like their devil fathers, sisters and brothers. And that is something that the black man, the original black man and woman of America, won't, we will never achieve, right? Because this is not our reality, right? But we're doing these things, everything that's against us to try and do these things, and it's hurting us, killing our body. And that's the purpose of these demons, because they would help their devil fathers achieve that mission to destroy us, because now they are hidden. We can't detect them, right? So this is the true identity of the seed of man and the seed of beast. Demons, sisters and brothers, half man, half devil.
Yes, ma'am. All right, sisters and brothers. Demonology. Ology means the study of something. Demon, as Sister Fatima identified, means half devil, half man. So here, the study of demons. This is a scientific, biological fact that the father carries the seed. The father determines the bloodline. All right. Before we get into it, we identify. America teaches that one drop of black blood makes you black. That does not determine, and that's not a clear indication of your bloodline or your nature, sisters and brothers. So the demonology chart identifies that it's not about skin color. So let's get right into it. All right, here we have in the first circle, we have the gold, triangles, an original black male and an original black female. They will produce an original black child. All right, that child is the product of the union between his original mother and original father. He has the same skin tone as his mother and father and the same DNA bloodline. All right. The next one, we have an original black male and a Caucasian white female. They're going to produce an original child in white skin. All right. Because it's not about skin color, it's about the seed. All right. So that child is original. However, that child has white skin. That's why it's important to understand that this message is not about skin color, sisters and brothers, because someone can be white and they're original, or they can be dark skinned and be a Caucasian and black skin. So let's keep moving. Here we have a white Caucasian male and a black original female. All right. The male is in white and the original female is in gold. All right. This gets back to the seed of man and the seed of beast. These are two different bloodlines coming together. However, the one that is going to determine the child's bloodline is the father, because the father carries the seed. So that Caucasian male and that original female is going to produce a Caucasian and black skin. So you see that Caucasian child, that demon, which is the product of the Caucasian man and the original black woman, has the same structure as his Caucasian father. So he has the same skin tone as his original mother. However, the same structure, the same biology, the same bloodline as his Caucasian father. So that's why he is a square, but he's covered in gold. So the demons are devils dipped in gold, if you will. They're dipped in that black skin, all right? Tar babies, wolves in sheep clothing. So they look like us. However, they do not have the same bloodline as us. All right. And then the fourth circle, this is a Caucasian white male and a Caucasian white female. They're going to produce a Caucasian white child. Same structure. If you notice the pattern here, each of the children have the same DNA structure as their father, same bloodline. So this is very simple, sisters and brothers. This is a scientific biological fact that the father and the father only determines the bloodline of the child. You can have, your mother can be anyone. It doesn't matter, because the mother does not determine the bloodline. All right. The mother, think of a cake, sisters and brothers. Your father is the cake that goes into the oven. Okay. And that cake bakes. And your mother puts the decoration, the frosting, the color on the cake. So she could put, it could be chocolate frosting, vanilla frosting. That does not change the cake itself. All right. Another example, think of building a house. The father builds the house, puts the foundation together. That's what DNA is, the foundation, right? So what does your mother do? She comes in with the furniture, the curtains, everything to dress the house up and give it an appearance. However, that does not change the very foundation of the home itself. So this reality has taught us to be, has us an illusion, has us thinking of things in an unrealistic manner, sisters and brothers. However, science and mathematics reveals that basic biology identifies who our hidden enemy is, which is the demons, half devil, half man.
All right, sisters and brothers. Now that we expose who these demons are, we have to understand the roles that they play in our community, right? Now, the demons are usually pastors, preachers, motivational speakers, all those who are taking money from you in the community and trying to, manipulate your minds and take your money from you. These are masses, devil children, right? Demon children, sisters and brothers, excuse me. So we have to understand that they are, in fact, those who are misleading you, right? Why? Because they are, in fact, devils just like their fathers. You have to understand that their mission and their vision is the same as their devil fathers. They just look like you, right? So they're the ones that you're, like I shared, the pastors and preachers and those leaders and things like that are standing up for the black community and speaking for us, but they're not who we are, right? Because their vision is to stay here in America, right? They're telling you they hate your skin, sisters and brothers. They hate your hair, right? Sisters and brothers, this is what they truly, this is who they truly are, right? Because they don't like you. They change everything about themselves. They change everything about themselves because they don't like to look like the original man and the original woman, right? So you have to understand that these pastors, these preachers, they are here lying to you, taking money from you. And Farrakhan is one of the chief demons who is over the Nation of Islam, right? And he claims to be original, but he's in fact an imposter because he's not original. He is actually a devil in black skin, a demon, sisters and brothers, right? So we have to understand that his father is in fact a Caucasian man, right? Farrakhan's father is Caucasian, which will make him a Caucasian man, right? His mother is black. However, his father is a Caucasian man. So Farrakhan is over the Nation of Islam. However, he's in fact a Caucasian himself, right? In black skin. So that alone shows you that he's not, who he claims to be, because, and he also claims to be, the Messiah, right? However, it said the Messiah will have hair like lamb's wool, right? And that's not the type of hair he has. It says skin like bronze, right? He does not have that skin tone at all. Sisters and brothers, he does not meet the description of who he claims to be, right? But this is who they have leader over the Nation of Islam, because they are in fact trying to destroy our nation, right? So they put their devil children in the positions, in these high positions, so they keep our minds distracted and destroyed, right? That's their vision. That's their mission, to keep us in the unknown, right? So we have to understand that Farrakhan is in fact an enemy to our nation, but he is acting as if he is original and he is for the black man and woman, but he's in fact not for the black man and woman. Farrakhan is an enemy. Farrakhan is working for these devils, making sure that you never understand your vision, because that was the purpose of the Nation of Islam, right? So, sisters and brothers, the teachings, the original teachings, were that the Caucasian man was the devil, right? And that's not what they're preaching today, sisters and brothers, because he's hugging and kissing on devils, sisters and brothers, saying that that's his brothers and things of that nature. So we have to understand that we have to see through what's being said, because what he's saying does not match what the lessons that were given by our God and Master and Elijah Muhammad, our messenger. They were not matched, right? Because if that was the case, if he was to preach that vision, he'll be talking about himself at that point, because at that point he'll be exposing who he is, because his father is in fact a Caucasian man, right? So we have to understand that he's playing Elijah's song, but it's not the same lyrics, sisters and brothers. So understanding that, he's not preaching what the God has taught us. He's not preaching what the messenger has come and taught us, sisters and brothers. If that's the case, he will be telling you about the messenger of the covenant, right? So these things, or the covenant, your covenant, right? Period. And they always gloss over that. They don't never identify that you are in fact getting out of here, and he wants to stay here in America. Why is that? And it identifies him as Legion, right? In the scriptures. It said that he is Louis Eugene Grounds, which is his actual name. Louis Eugene Grounds. And if you see the word Legion right here, spelled Leg, Louis Eugene, but I can't barely see it. Louis Eugene Grounds, Leg, right? Now you have the ION at the end of that, which identifies the Nation of Islam, right? But you have to understand that it's backwards. But it's backwards for a reason because Farrakhan has in fact turned the Nation of Islam backwards. He has totally destroyed, or attempted to destroy everything that was in place, right? All the businesses that they had in the Nation of Islam are no longer. He's just telling people he's the Messiah, taking money from them, not producing anything, picking the sisters. This is what he does, sisters and brothers, and this is what the devil does. They give you nothing. That's exactly what Farrakhan has done, giving you nothing. And now you have here in this video that we're about to play, he's telling you that you're sinful, sisters and brothers. He's telling you that your nappy hair is cursed, sisters and brothers. This is what he's identifying, saying that the black man and woman, it shows that from basically is identifying who we are from within, and it's reflecting on the outside of us, saying that we're wicked, we're weak, right? Identifying that we're cursed, saying this is what he's saying. This is why we have nappy hair and all the other nations have straight hair. This is what Farrakhan is identifying, that the black man and woman is cursed, right? And that's not the case. But this is what he's claiming, because you got to understand that he's in fact a hidden enemy, our enemies, an enemy to our nation, right? Because he wouldn't even be saying that if he was standing for the Nation of Islam, right? Because we are all original, right? So we have to understand that he's trying to defend himself because he in fact has straight hair, right? So he's making himself, highlight himself as great, right? And then he's trying to detour you from the Son of Man. And he shared that he will have what? Hair like lamb's wool, the Messiah, right? This is what the description of the Messiah would be. Hair like lamb's wool, right? And he's here on this video, he is telling you that that hair that you have on your head is cursed. But this hair is the same identification of the Messiah that you should be looking for, right? So that alone is he's trying to detour you from understanding who the Messiah is. And this is what they would do, sisters and brothers. This is what the hidden enemies would do, sisters and brothers. They just like their fathers. They want you to be destroyed, just like their fathers. And they hate you, just like their fathers hate you, sisters and brothers. And he hates your hair. He hates your skin, sisters and brothers. So he highlights the fact that, straight hair and things like that is great, but our hair is cursed, right? What we look like is cursed. It was identification of, this was a mark to show, that we're cursed at that point, right? The black man and woman, are cursed. Our big noses, all these things. This is what he's tearing us down about. But this is the image of us, right? This is what we look like. This is what the gods look like, right? But he's saying that, that image is cursed, right? Sisters and brothers, that alone should identify to you that he is an enemy to you, sisters and brothers. And we're going to play that video right now. Okay.
Story of the curse. Since then, I got it on tape, I got it on video, and I got it on audio. People with dark skin and woolly hair, a certain kind of nose was coming. Your hair and the texture, your eyebrows are supposed to be the same. So Shabazz was not permitted to stay in that area. So he took his family into the jungle of East Asia, which we now call Africa, to make a people close to nature. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, this is the origin of kinky hair. Because we didn't have kinky hair prior to that. The hair on our head was like the hair on our eyebrows. The hair on your eyebrows straight, the hair on your head is not the same as the hair on your eyebrow. But the hair of every other people is the same as their eyebrow. Your eyebrow straight, your hair something different. Wouldn't you like the hair on your head to be as straight as the hair on your eyebrow? That's why you're so busy frying it. That's why you're so busy pulling it. Because your nature tells you that you can't. I mean, you know, with I'm black and I'm proud, we got to learn to be proud of kings. Because most of your family, of other black people on the earth, jet black. They didn't have no broad nose and fake lips and kinky hair. They were dark-skinned people, jet black. But they had straight hair, a thinner lip, a thinner nose. But we are marked as a different kind of black person. And we were rejected and despised, not only from the circle of the gods, but we were despised and rejected by all the other dark people of the earth. This is why today black people with kinky hair and broad nose and thick lips are rejected in every society. I want you to hear me well tonight. Yes, sir. Why are we rejected? Because the essence of beauty is in obedience and submission to God. And the essence of ugliness is when you rebel against God. And when you rebel against God, in your rebellion, you are marked with a certain mark of your rebellion, which is the disfigurement of your internal self, which manifests in the disfigurement of your external self.
All right, sisters and brothers, you hear that? He's telling you you're sinful, right? You're so sinful. This is what Farrakhan is telling you right there in that video, that you're sinful and that you're cursed, right? And we have to understand that that is a lie. Sisters and brothers, you're not sinful. We submitted to Adam like we were supposed to. We did what we were supposed to do, right? So we have to understand that that is the speak and talk of the enemy, sisters and brothers. This is what your hidden enemies would say to you, that you're sinful, right? This is what Farrakhan is preaching today. Today he's preaching that you're sinful, right? That you need to, repent. All these things. This is what Farrakhan is teaching, right? It says, excuse me, sisters and brothers, I can't. Sister Nicolai, can you read that for me?
Yes,
see it.
Elijah never taught any such bullshit. He said Dr. Shabazz's intent was to make us as strong as possible in preparation for our future tribulation of enslavement. DNA reveals that kinky woolly hair is the dominant gene or best hair. Excuse me, but isn't that the hair of the Son of Man?
You hear that, sisters and brothers? Isn't that the hair of the Messiah, right? That it identifies in the scripture that he would have hair like lamb's wool. Then you have to understand, like you shared, this is the hair. We actually have to understand that this is the strongest. We're the strongest tribe. We have to understand that we were made this way. So when we're put in this condition that we're here today in hell with these devils, we'll be able to thrive through that, right? Just like we're here today, right? So we have to understand that it's a reason for everything that was done, right? So I can't even read. He says.
So then,
Dr. Shabazz made us strong as possible. Exactly. So this is a result of that strength that we were made to be like, right? Just like the gods. This is the hair of the gods, right? So for him saying that, that alone is deterring you from the Son of Man that said will come, right? And if he's claiming to be this Messiah, how are you reading that description? And the Messiah said the Messiah had hair like lamb's wool, which is why he's preaching this message in the way he's preaching it, because he wants you to be detoured from that, distracted from that, and looking at him as if he's great. Sisters and brothers, look at him because he has straight hair, right? You don't have big old lips. He said big lips. We got big noses, big lips, nappy hair. All his hair is straight. His lips not big. His nose isn't huge, right? So he's trying to highlight his looks as if he's not one that's cursed, which is why he's able to stand up there and speak to you, right? So this was a distraction from who the Messiah would actually be like and look like, right? This was his attempt to highlight himself as being better than who you and I are, sisters and brothers, when he's not, sisters and brothers. He's actually the seed of a devil, which is why he has straight hair like he has, sisters and brothers. This is why he has that type of, this is why he looks that way, sisters and brothers, and he's trying to highlight that that's great, so that look is good, but your look is bad, right? This is his attempt to, that was his attempt to, call the black man and woman and say that we're sinful and we're ugly. That was his point. We're ugly. And so at that point, you're calling the God, the Son of Man, ugly, right? The Messiah. What? At that point, you're saying that we're cursed, right? We're sinful. Sisters and brothers, you're not cursed. You're not sinful. So it's important for us to understand that these demons are out here to destroy you, just like their devil father. Sisters and brothers, in Farrakhan, he is in fact the number one chief demon because he's over the black nation of Islam, and he's done nothing but destroy the nation of Islam and filled it up with devils and demons, sisters and brothers, and destroy and excuse me, brothers, and he has manipulated our people that are in the nation of Islam, their minds, because everybody, they're not even thinking, they're not even they're not even asking any questions or trying to put two and two together as to it's not making sense, to what the God has taught us, right? To what the messenger has taught. His preachings is not making sense to that, right? So we have to understand that Farrakhan is soon to be exposed. Sisters and brothers, these demons will be exposed, and Farrakhan will be exposed. Sisters and brothers, Farrakhan is in fact a devil's child. See the man, see the beast, demon.
Yes, ma'am. In addition to what Sister Fatima has expressed, Farrakhan, like Sister Fatima shared, he's saying that we're cursed. He's saying that the Son of Man with his kinky, nappy hair is cursed. Let's take that for a moment. He's saying the exact same thing that the devils are saying. They say that we're Ham and we're cursed slaves forever and ever, right? In the book of Genesis, it speaks about our true experience, the horror that we endured, and the vision that our father Abram had of the enslavement and affliction that his seed would endure here in a strange land. And in the book of Genesis, Abram is called Abram. He's not called Abraham. He's called Abram. Okay. That's the only part in the scripture where he's called Abram. Mm-hmm. The devils say that we are Ham, cursed slaves, cursed black, to be slaves forever and ever. Farrakhan is saying that our black skin, our kinky hair, thick noses, all of these dominant traits is evidence that we are cursed. He says we're disfigured. He's saying that we're cursed. Okay. So he's saying the same thing that his devil fathers are saying. And look at this, sisters and brothers. They walk right into it because they are admitting that we are the true seed of Abraham. So that's the whole thing about all these shrewd plans. Farrakhan is part of their shrewd plan, and they're trying to deceive us. However, just the fact that me and Sister Fatima are here today informing you, warrior queens, that's proof and evidence that their shrewd plans will not be successful. And by their own admission, by them talking against us and you know, accusing us of being cursed, they have accidentally admitted that we are exactly who the unsealed scripture says we are, the true seed of Abraham. Supreme Wisdom Lesson says, maker, owner, cream of the planet Earth, gods and goddesses of the universe. Okay, and straight kinky hair cannot come out of that straight hair that the devils have. However, we can produce, you see what I'm saying? Straight hair can come out of that kinky hair. So that's just proof right there that we are the dominant, we have the dominant genes, the dominant trait, the dominant DNA. So while he's trying to speak, while he is speaking against us, he walked right into the truth. Let me put it like this. He admitted, just like his double fathers, they're speaking against us. They think, you know, they're deceiving us and things like that. And they have admitted exactly who we are. So another thing, he says that we're cursed. All right, let's talk about cursed from another standpoint. The book of Malachi tells us who's cursed. This person that's cursed with a curse is a robber of the Nation of Islam. And how did he rob the Nation of Islam? He's robbed us in tithes and offerings. So you're looking for someone who's over the Nation of Islam, who is rich, okay, while the Nation of Islam has nothing. Now, the book of Malachi identifies the messenger, Elijah Muhammad, and it identifies the messenger of the covenant. However, then it goes on to this robber of God, and he's cursed with a curse. So while he's up here speaking against our nation, he is the one who's actually cursed. He's disemboweled. His male reproductive organs are gone. He can no longer reproduce. The woman is supposed to be heaven, right? Well, Farrakhan has no heaven because he can't even participate. He doesn't have heaven. He doesn't have his manhood. So every tongue that stands up against us will be totally shut down, sisters and brothers. Understand that. They're speaking against us, calling us cursed. The devils are the ones that's cursed. Farrakhan is cursed with a curse. So what did he say? Let me see how to put this. One other thing, the demons, they try to, they're put over us as role models and influencers. So they hate us so much that they're trying to get us to hate ourselves as well. And by not knowing any better, then you're following these entertainment actors and influencers and, bleaching your skin and, putting this blonde hair in your head and anything to look like a devil, walking around naked. That's not our nature. So that's another red flag, because why do they want you to be other than who you naturally are, sisters and brothers? That means that they hate us. They hate our guts. They hate us 100%. So be aware, sisters and brothers, that our hidden enemy is plaguing our nation. However, that's coming to an end very soon. All right. Now we move into the war in the Middle East. All right. This is important, sisters and brothers. We are at war. The war is in full action. And you need to know exactly who your enemies are so that you are on the right side of this, so that you get to safety and that you are secured and that we can come together as one strong body, mighty army, and make our exodus out of America, because we have a door out of America's destruction. Now, the book of Revelations gives us details about this war in the Middle East, tells us who's involved, tells us the outcome. All right, let's get into it. And occurred war in the heaven. The Michael and the angels of him, of the two war with the dragon, and the dragon warred and the angels of it, and not it proved strong. Not but place was found of them yet in the heaven, and was thrown the dragon the great, the serpent the archaic, the being called devil and the Satan, the making to err, the being inhabited whole. He was thrown into the earth, and the angels of him with him were thrown. All right, sisters and brothers, where is this war located? The war is located in heaven. Heaven is the Middle East. All right. And there are two groups that are involved in this war that's fighting against each other, Michael and his angels and the dragon and his angels. All right. Michael is our God, Master Farad Muhammad. His angels is our brothers, Iran and Syria. The dragon is the house of Saud, and his angels are America, Britain, and false Israel. So it shares that, and not it proved strong, not but place was found of them yet in heaven, and was thrown the dragon the great, the serpent the archaic, the being called devil and the Satan, the making to air, the inhabit to whole. He was thrown into the earth, and the angels of him with her were thrown. So this identifies that the dragon and his angels were defeated by Michael and his angels in this war. So that means that Iran and Syria, who's being backed by Master Farad Muhammad, they're going to win this war, sisters and brothers. And the House of Saud, America, Britain, false Israel, they're going to lose the war. So we know exactly how this war is going to turn out. So when they're talking about peace talks and they're talking about, the war is over, and no, it's not over until Michael and his angels have taken their victory. So that's how you can. This is the true news. This is also future news, sisters and brothers, because this tells us the unsealed scriptures is our mind, and we are given the information of what's going to happen before it happens. So we know how to, move accordingly and navigate through this situation. So what does the dragon do? What is the significance of the dragon, sisters and brothers? The dragon fuels his angels. So the dragon supplies oil to America, Britain, and false Israel. Okay. So with Michael and his angels winning the war, that means that oil is going to be totally cut off. No oil for the dragon or his angels. They'll be thrown out of heaven. We know that false Israel is going to be destroyed. Scriptures tells us when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, know that its destruction is near. So none of this is looking good for any of our enemies, sisters and brothers. Understand that. Now, being that we are in America, we're being held captive in the land of our imprisonment. The devils are feeding us. They're providing, our homes. They do, they provide the electricity. They have built an entire economy off of this industrialized complex that they have built, and it totally depends on oil to run, to survive. So when America loses that war in the Middle East and that oil gets cut off, how is that going to affect us, sisters and brothers? How is that going to affect us? That's the question I'm going to pose, and we'll answer that as we go along.
Yes, ma'am. As Sister Nicolette shared, how is that going to affect us, sisters and brothers? Now we have to understand that once that oil line is cut, that means America has no more power, right? Because that's where their power lies, in the oil, right? The Industrial Revolution, right? So that is how everything operates. That is what is used to operate everything that they have here in America. Their machines, they need oil for their weapons to fight the military, right? You need oil for gas, lights, transportation, all these things you need oil for. And once that is cut off, sisters and brothers, that is going to lead to an economic collapse here in America, sisters and brothers. So we have to understand that alone is going to be the shock of the hour, because false Israel goes down. So we have to understand that when false Israel goes down, that's the shock of the hour, right? Because it's not supposed to happen, right? False Israel is not supposed to be destroyed. Why is that? because false Israel is not, right? They're supposed to be the true seed of Abraham, is what they claim, right? They claim that they're who we are, right? However, that'll be not one description of that claim, right? And these people were put in that land over there in 1948. So, understanding that, they put them in that land to act as if they were us. So we would never know who we truly are, right? True seed Abraham. We are in fact God's people, which they tried to counter that claim that Elijah Muhammad made by putting those people in that land, right? So we have to understand that these people have stolen our identity, right? They are not the true seed Abraham. Me and you are. We are the true seed Abraham. And they are not, right? This is why they're false, right? Because they are not who they claim to be, right? So we have to understand that they are the ones that are holding our nation down from rising, right? Because they are in control of their social media, entertainment, sports, all these things that you're watching, the television, sisters and brothers, the movies that you're watching, the music that you're listening to, they are in control of it because their mission is your destruction, right? So they're the ones that's in control of this dream, this American dream. So you never find out and you have a vision, right? Because you're distracted 24/7. So you'll never find out or realize or listen to this right that we're giving you today because you are distracted 24/7. Taking your children to school, going to work every day, focus on sports, focus on the next movie coming out, focus on going on trips. All these things they're in charge of, so they're in control of. So you stay distracted, sisters and brothers, from realizing exactly what is taking place, right? So on top of this economic collapse that's going to take place in America once this event takes place, that's also going to be false Israel destroyed, right? So that means that distraction they're going bankrupt, literally make sure that you're distracted. But they're going bankrupt that's going to be taken out. That should tell you how serious it is because they're doing everything in their power to keep you distracted. Everything in their power. So that's going to that way is going to be destroyed. So that alone, they can't have that because now there's no more distractions. There's no more of that distractions. They have to keep that's how they keep you in their control. They have to keep it going 24/7. Constantly. That's how they keep us distracted, how they keep us under their control. Keep us, distracted. Like I said, that's how they keep us in control, right? So once that control is no longer, that is going to be alarm for all these devils because now, right, false Israel goes down. First of all, that's a shock because that's not supposed to happen. That's an abomination, right? Because they're going to reach us Abraham, right? So that means everybody's going to be looking at who? The black man and woman because we have that next claim of the true seed of Abraham because they put them there to act as if they were us. But they was uprooted and the scripture said they wouldn't be, right? And they're not even in the land the scripture said that we would be in, right? Which is Arabia. They're not in that land, sisters and brothers. So we have to understand that lie is going to crumble. And that is going to be the shock of the whole planet because this is the narrative that they think that they're blessing God's people. But sisters and brothers, they're actually cursing God's people. And God's people is you and I, sisters and brothers. This is why they use their demon children as well to destroy our image. So when this event would happen, nobody would more our loss when they attack all blacks, because this is what they plan on doing, attacking all blacks during this time, sisters and brothers, because they cannot have you rise. They cannot have you come together, because that's where your power lies, our unity, us coming together. They cannot have that, sisters and brothers. This is why they push for us to segregate. Am I saying that right, sister Nicholas? Segregation. Integration, sisters and brothers, yes, integration. This is why they push integration, sisters and brothers, because they needed us to be together. They needed us to be surrounded by them. They needed us to be, controlled by them. They couldn't have us separating. And that's what Elijah Muhammad, the messenger, was teaching, complete separation, right? They couldn't have that, right? They couldn't have these Negroes plotting on their own, thinking for themselves, you know what I'm saying? They could not have that, sisters and brothers. So this is why they have Martin Luther King doing what he did. I had a dream that we come together, sisters and brothers. But we have to understand that our vision is complete separation. And they know that that's where our power lies, in us separating from them. And that's exactly what they fear, us rising as this mighty nation. And the scripture shares that we will rise as a mighty nation. And this is what they're trying to prevent, sisters and brothers. It shared that. So I said, like I shared, they're going to attack the plant before that is going to take place. The plan is to attack all blacks, because it said, once you see Jerusalem surrounded by an army, know that its destruction is near. Sisters and brothers, so the scripture is telling you they will be destroyed, right? So they're gonna attack you, right? Because they can't have you, because they're trying to get rid of the evidence, right, of their crime. And you and I are the evidence of that crime, right? Because we're here, right? We're the evidence of that they've been cursing God's people, right? So that's what a criminal would do, try to get rid of the evidence so they are not guilty as charged. However, sisters and brothers, they are in fact guilty as charged, and they will not succeed in this vision that they are trying to kill us all. But this is what they plan to do. Sisters and brothers, attack all blacks. Sisters and brothers, and that means their demon children as well. They're not going to be checking to see if you're original, checking to see if you're their children. They're going to be attacking all blacks, which is why this time is so serious for us, sisters and brothers, in our unity, because we have to understand that we have to come together, right? And that's our protection through the 5 mathematical pillars of Islam. Also, we have to understand the time that we're going to be in during this, while this is happening, it's going to be economic collapse, right? Here in America. There's going to be a famine going on. Sisters and brothers, so we have to understand that they are beasts by nature. These devils, sisters and brothers, they never went out without a meal. Sisters and brothers, economic collapse has never taken place here in America. People are not prepared for this day. They're not ready for this. And when this happens, sisters and brothers, you're going to see these devils in their true light. Sisters and brothers, because right now you don't know who they are, because you have never seen them. That's why I say experience is the best teacher, right? So you're going to actually get to witness these devils in their true light, which is why I said it's going to be a great shaking, because we are going to need that great shaking, right? Because we don't understand the depths of our enemies. We don't know who they truly are. We have never seen it, but we're about to see that in 3D, sisters and brothers, right in front of you. Sisters and brothers, you're going to see these devils in their true light. They are planning, they're beasts by nature. Sisters and brothers, they never went without food. Sisters and brothers, especially economic collapses, and brothers, they never experienced these things. And sisters and brothers, we have to understand, we don't understand who they are. We don't understand their minds. But they're going to definitely show you when this event takes place. Sisters and brothers, it's not going to be any, like right now, you just see them, acting as if they're good people, all these things, but that's not who they truly are, sisters and brothers. They put you in the Constitution as 3/5 of a human, because they prepared for this day. They prepared for this famine, because they prepare to cook you, to use you as food, sisters and brothers, to eat you, literally eat you, take you out of existence, not just kill you, eat you, sisters and brothers. So that alone is giving you an idea of what you're about to witness, cannibalism, sisters and brothers, this is who they are, sisters and brothers. So we have to understand the seriousness of this time, because the scriptures give you and highlight certain, events that's going to happen. It says a man will eat the flesh of their own children, right? Their own children. I mean, they're going to be eating their own children during this time, sisters and brothers. So the woman will give birth in silence just to eat her own afterbirth, just to eat her own baby. This is the time that you're approaching, sisters and brothers. It also shares that it also shares that children will be gray-headed. That means the child will have to be under extreme stress to be gray-headed, sisters and brothers. So this is unprecedented times that we're approaching, meaning a time like no other, a time that you can't even explain because we've never experienced it, right? This is the times that we're approaching. So we have to understand our unity, us coming together as one body, one nation, sisters and brothers, is going to be how we are going to navigate through this time that's about to approach us, because that's how we're going to be protected. Us coming together as one body, right? Through our nature. There's the 5 mathematical pillars of Islam. On top of, in the midst of all this happening, us getting our minds back. So you have to understand how serious this time is going to be for us and how serious our unity is going to be during this time. We're going to need to come together during this time, because we're not going to make it without it, right? If one fails, we all fail, right? If one is hurting, we're all hurting, sisters and brothers, because like I said, we are one body. And this is what the enemy has just taken us away from, understanding that. Everybody want to do that. I got this, I got that, I'm good, I got things, I got this, I'm good, we're good, you do you. You do what you gotta do to get better. So we have to understand that that mindset is going to get you killed, sisters and brothers, during the time of that's approaching us, sisters and brothers. That mindset is going to get our nation killed, on top of you killed, sisters and brothers. So we have to understand that we are one body, and if one is hurting, we're all hurting, sisters and brothers. It's no one person going to make it. I got it, so I'm good. But your brother over here is hurting, your sisters over here is hurt. We have to understand that this is the enemy's mindset. This is how they taught us, right, to think. So this is a mindset we're going to have to get out of, because, or we're going to be on that dinner table. You hear me? Our whole nation, right? And this is what we're trying to prevent, right? This is the only way we can achieve that, which is our Hajj. Us coming together, us with the 5 mathematical Islam pillars of Islam, which is our nature, because right now we're operating off of their nature, smoking, drinking, whatever, everything else they're doing to cope and to get, to firm their hearts and things, drinking. That's not how we do it, because that's temporary, right? That's only a temporary fix. That's not a guaranteed fix, and that's also killing you on top of that, That's their nature. That's the thing that they use. That's their pillars. That's not our pillars, but that's the thing that motivates them, that helps them. That doesn't help us, as a brother, kills us. It hurts us. But it may feel like it's helping you, but it's not helping you, sisters and brothers. It's only hurting you. It's only putting a shield over. It's really right. What am I trying to say? Right. It's only like putting like a shield over what's actually happening. You're not fixing the problem, So that's why it's important that we operate from our nature, because our nature is what is for us. Sisters and brothers, what's going to help us get through this time. As I said, men's hearts will fail from fear. That's how serious this time is about to have. Men's hearts will fail from fear from what's to come. That means it hasn't come yet, right? So that means from what's to come. So that alone is the thought of this about to happen. People's hearts are going to be failing from fear from that, right? So this is why the pillars are so important, because one of those pillars is to firm your heart, sisters and brothers. It's a pillar that you use to firm that heart that you have, because you're going to need that. Because the time that you're about to approach, and the thing that you're going to have to do, and the thing that you're going to have to witness and see, sisters and brothers, I said, their hearts are going to fail from what's to come, just to hearing what's to come, let alone, sisters and brothers, you witnessing and having to do things that's 100% that you not against. I wouldn't say against you, but the thing is that you're not used to doing. Sisters and brothers, you have to understand that we're laying with devils, with demons. We got babies that are demons, right? We had children with them. We don't know this knowledge, so you know what I'm saying. We were just living life. So family members, all these things that you're going to have to separate from during this time, because you got to understand that the demons are going to unite and the original nation is going to unite. Sisters and brothers, this is why that we highlighted who your enemies are, because if you do not know your enemies, you are in fact your own enemy, because you don't know who you're surrounded by. Sisters and brothers, so these, and the vision of the demons is they're going to be staying here. They want to stay here. They want to take over America. They want to get 6 states. They want to do all these things, reparations. This is their vision, and they're going to unite. Sisters and brothers, just like we're going to unite, right? They're going to be fighting back with their fathers, right? But we're going to be coming together, right? And trying to get out of here. That's your vision. So that's the identification you need to know and understand during this time, because you're going to have 2 group of blacks that's going to unite, right? But you're going to have to be on that right side of the right group. You got to be with that right group, right? And if you're not, then the wrong answer will get you destroyed. That you're going on with those demons, right? Because you think America, is going to thrive, but America is going to be destroyed, sisters and brothers, which is why your vision is complete separation, sisters and brothers, back to your land. That's what you need to be listening to. That's the song that you need to be listening to. That's the song, when you hear it playing, that's what you need to follow. That voice, not the voice of staying here in America, because that is going to be your destruction, sisters and brothers. That voice that we're not going anywhere, you're staying here, we're taking over America, let's fight back against. This is what the devil's vision is, the demon children, sisters and brothers. So during this time, that is what's going to take place. And your vision is the Abrahamic covenant. God's sure word that was made to his people, his nation, that you would go back to your land, right? You're given, excuse me, brothers. The vision was the Abrahamic covenant, which is found in Genesis chapter 15, verse 18. It describes the land that you will return to, which is Arabia, your heaven. Sisters and brothers, that is your true vision, sisters and brothers. So understanding that is how this is going to affect the black man and woman here in America.
Yes, ma'am. And sisters, warrior queens, you will be protected. You will be secured. You do not need to be fearful. The fact that you're being given this information in advance, all kind of measures are being taken to make sure that we are 100% successful. It shows that we're going to do exploits. It shows that not a hair on our head will be harmed. It says that while our enemies go hungry, we're going to eat. While they go thirsty, we will drink. While they're sad, and it shows that we will be singing for joy. We're going to rejoice. So it also identifies that our emotions during this time, of course, they're going to be disciplined. However, we're going to be happy because we are going to see our power on full display due to us, our discipline and our unity, which is part of our discipline. So this is a very important point for our sisters, because hearing all of this information could be worrying to a mother, worrying about how your children are going to eat. What are you going to do? However, that will be taken care of. We're going to eat, sisters. But this famine is not for us. It's for our enemies. It's part of their destruction for what they did to us. So it's up to us to apply the information so that we can be in the right place at the right time together, so that we can accomplish and fulfill the Abrahamic covenant and get out of here, because that's what it's all about, sisters and brothers. Warrior queens, we have a door out of America, and our way is paved in gold. Because while they were trying to get rid of our male seed, killing off our baby boys, we said no, we did not allow that. And us being the warrior queens that we are, we found a way to sneak and procreate so that we could get impregnated by our original black man and keep our seed alive today. So if it wasn't for us, Abraham's seed would not even be here to receive and fulfill the Abrahamic covenant. If it wasn't for us, the Messiah would not have been born, because by them trying to kill those baby boys, they were trying to kill the Messiah as well. So sisters, you have done an excellent duty, and you're on post right now, sisters. So that is a sacrifice that is being rewarded and will never be forgotten. And we will take our pedestals back, never to be removed again. So sisters, warrior queens, hold your head up. Take back what belongs to you, which is our power. We do that by disciplining ourselves, disciplining our beauty, covering ourselves. We don't have to be naked. Display your mind, not your body, sisters. And that's our nature. See, they have us acting against our, see, they have to walk around naked to get a man's attention. We don't have to do that. So they are actually scarring or marring, they're taking away from our beauty by having us walk around naked and be other than ourselves. However, that's why we're here today, to inform you so that you can make the right decision. All you need is the right information, because you're not sinful. All right. So you submitted, and we did exactly what we're supposed to do. Now it's time to move on to the next phase, which is us leaving America. All right. So as we come to a close, do you have any final thoughts, Sister Fatima?
So with that, we could bring this to a close, and we'll be back with more. Assalamu alaikum.